If you go to G4 Precision today, you could take the Extreme AR Accurizing online course, published by myself and Gordy Gritters. In this video, I'm gonna go over the first half of the course, which is evaluating your AR for accuracy issues. Hey guys, Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. That's right, you can sign up for and take the training today. This online course will help you accurize your AR. The results that Gordy and I saw were taking a CMMG Resolute 6 ARC rifle from approximately 3/4 of an inch groups at 100 yards to shooting in the threes. The very first group that Gordy shot after the accurizing was something like 0.335 inches. And that's a dramatic improvement, but it's not too surprising because the AR platform can be quite accurate, and there are a lot of factors, more than with a bolt-action rifle, that can contribute to poor accuracy. So if you sign up for the course at g4precision.com, what you're going to see is 3 different sections. An introductory section that's going to cover a basic introduction, a conceptual overview, a little bit about ARs and a backgrounder on their capabilities with accuracy and so on and so forth. And then also an overview of the tools, equipment, and supplies that you're going to need to perform the work and the evaluation. Okay, and then there's the evaluation section, which is what I'm going to cover in detail here. If you go to g4precision.com, you scroll down on the page, you can see this exact list so that you can kind of try before you buy. So here's the different evaluation processes and factors. So we've got an introduction, which basically goes through all of these different evaluation steps as kind of a preview. We've got gauging headspace. This is using a go and a no-go gauge to evaluate where your AR's headspace currently lands and whether it's inside or outside of SAMI specifications. We've got measuring twist rate. This is an interesting one because Gordy has found from working on thousands and thousands of rifle barrels that stamped twist rate on the barrel does not necessarily equate to actual twist rate. Now, if you're shooting really long high BC bullets and you need every bit of twist that you can get to stabilize the bullet, or if you're worried about overspinning bullets and those bullets exploding, some of this threshold level twist rate is really important. And Gordy goes through the process of talking about how to measure that twist rate very precisely. Then we've got bore scoping the barrel. This is kind of the before picture. Now we've probably heard, a lot of us, that what you see in a bore scope can be scarier than reality, but it's still important to take a bore scope, look through the bore, and see what we see. We could see some fundamental problems like throat misalignment. We could see scratches and gouges in the chamber area, but then we can also find areas in the bore that are of particular concern. We've got slugging the bore, and this is where we can evaluate the consistency of the dimensions of the lands and grooves. This is one of the most important factors for a really accurate shooting rifle. And there are some very precise ways that we need to slug the barrel and perform the test. Otherwise, we won't get a valid result. Checking gas tube fit. If things aren't aligned and if things are interfering, that can be one more important factor contributing to poor accuracy. Checking muzzle brake alignment, right? If your muzzle brake is offset and the bullet isn't centered when it's exiting the barrel and entering the brake, you're going to get some interesting POI shift, and you're also possibly going to get a degradation of accuracy, and of course that's not what you want. We've got evaluating bolt lug contact. This is another really important one. On an AR, you've got more lugs than you've got on a bolt-action rifle, and there are some special considerations involved in evaluating the contact between the lugs and the lug seats in the barrel extension. So we can actually quantify that with some special techniques and see what kind of lug to lug seat contact we're getting before, and that's something, of course, that we can fix as a part of the accurizing process section. We've got bolt carrier fit. Now this has more to do with the specifications from the manufacturer. There are different diameters, for instance, that are available And the course goes through what you're going to look for and the different options that you have with regard to potentially fitting a match bolt carrier group to take up some of that slack, and so on and so forth. We've also got ignition energy tests for basically primer penetration, measuring how much primer penetration we're getting and whether or not we're going to have consistent ignition, and then tweaks that we can do later on when we get to the accurizing process to help fix that. Okay, another really important one, measuring receiver fit. The upper and the lower fit together rather loosely if we're talking about an old school or mil-spec rifle, and that is on purpose. But when you pull the trigger and when the round is fired, if the upper is able to move over the lower, that's going to send our shots flying in different directions, right? That's going to increase the diameter of the groups that we're shooting, and of course, that's not what we want. So it's really important to establish that baseline of how well the upper fits to the lower before we get to work. We've got evaluating the trigger, and there are safety aspects here, and then there are also things like trigger pull, max pull weight measurements that we can take with a simple trigger pull gauge, or if you have something like a trigger scan, obviously you can get a complete profile, create a graph, and determine metrics on the fly. And then we've got the optic, right? This is the half of the rifle that a lot of people treat as an afterthought. If the scope itself has any internal problems, or if there are any issues with alignment or solidarity of the mount, the rings, and the scope tube, that precision instrument that is your rifle optic will not work properly, and your groups will open up proportionally. And then we have the conclusion, which is essentially a summary of what does our scorecard look like for this particular AR, and how we can prepare for what I'm going to cover in the next video, which is an overview of the actual accurizing processes and the different steps that are outlined in detail as a part of this series. Once again, if you want to take this training, you can do that now by going to g4precision.com. It was an honor to have the opportunity to put this training together with Gordy Gritters, who is an industry legend, and I am confident that if you take the training, you're going to be equipped to see a serious difference in your AR-15 or AR-10 and or your customers' AR-15s and AR-10s. This is some really good stuff. So if you're interested in doing this kind of work, go to g4precision.com, enroll, and take the training today. Thank you very much for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.